So, for an example, let's take a bright idea and go with the cliche of developing a lamp. Just keeping it simple for this presentation, a product that has several parts in the assembly and several different processes in the manufacturing process. This particular lamp is the Forza from IKEA. And if we take, for the demonstration purposes, a basic product development process where you start off with your idea, your business case, you work out whereabouts you're going to be heading with the concept, develop a variety of concepts, evaluate them against time, cost, quality, and your objectives for the project, bring them into the development phase where you're taking one of those concepts and refining it, and then working in the detailed stage where you're doing your drawings, working out your materials, your specifications, getting everything ready for your transfer to manufacture phase, and all of the documentation that goes across with your bills of material and your request for quotes, to then finally getting to the point where you can order your product and put it on the shelves. This presentation is focusing on the last part of this product development process. This scope triangle, hopefully everyone's fairly familiar with the time versus cost versus quality. Anytime you try and alter something on the project, it has an impact on the other aspects. You can't alter one without altering the other. If you increase the scope of the project, the whole thing increases. So it's very important at the very beginning of your project to plan very well, to make sure that you're monitoring, mitigating any risks along the way, and also to make sure that you are putting in actions which you can bring things back into line if need be. In terms of working out the user requirements, some of the criteria which you use in the user requirements are also very key to look at your design for manufacturing, design for assembly aspects. One of the key things that I like to put in my user requirements is Garvin's 8 quality dimensions. Obviously you put in a lot more beyond this, but this is a very good system to ensure that you've included as much as possible. In terms of performance, if we take this lamp for an example, the performance of this lamp is to light a work area to a certain lux, to be able to move into the different areas as needed and switch on and off. In terms of features are secondary bells and whistles, so to speak. So to have a directional handle, to have something which easily moves backwards and forwards when you don't have a pen stuck in it. And then we can move on to the reliability. Now, the reliability is a statistical analysis of looking at the failure of your product during its time on the market. Obviously, you want it to be as reliable as possible. Conformance, something like the lamp will need to meet WEEE regulations. You might be going through the process and doing the CE mark in order to be able to sell it. Durability is making sure it can work for the lifetime of the product. Durability is in terms of, for example, how many times you can switch this light on and off without the lamp failing, making sure that the switch can handle that many switches. Durability and reliability can be quite similar in terms of the definitions. One of the things with reliability and warranty for product life is being aware that different manufacturers of different products have a different product life expectation. It's not actually highly regulated in terms of product life and what that is for each product. Some areas, for example, the state of California has got a minimum product life of 3 years. Let's say for the purpose of this lamp, it's 7 years. Serviceability is a really good one to look at when you're looking at your assembly process. For a complicated product, you want to make sure that you can take it apart and easily access any components that need to be replaced during the product lifetime. But also from the consumer point of view, something like a lamp, as simple as taking the lamp in and out, just making sure they've got that accessibility to the area. Aesthetics for this product would be like making it look sleek and a technical looking product. And perceived quality, the additional things that are more a subjective point of view, but it does come through in the product and get reflected in the price. For example, it's good quality, which you can tell when you're lifting it and you're feeling the materials. Moving on to the time aspect. Time to market is critical for new products. There's a documentary that's come out recently which is quite interesting, where they talk about creativity never actually being original. That creativity stems from taking your previous experiences and things that you've seen and combining them in a unique way to provide something new. And with that, there is a theory out there that anytime someone is developing a new product, there may be at least 7 other people around the world with the same idea. So this is where we get the rush to patent or the rush to saturate the market. For that, it's very key to make sure that you look at your timescales and how long it takes to get to market, and where you can do concurrent activities to make the process shorter. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm taking idea as 4 months, concept 4 months, 4 weeks, detailed development 4 weeks, transfer to manufacture 6 weeks, and ordering 12 weeks. Again, this is purely for demonstrative purposes, but let's take a stacked up product development time of 34 weeks for our starting point. In terms of the product price, one way of looking at your product price and how it scales from your cost of goods right up to your sale price, some people use the multiplication factor of 5. So your cost of goods does not include your operating costs. There's a lot of additional costs on there where the actual profitability of your product may be closer to 20%. But looking at your cost of goods and then what it sells for on the shelf, this can be a fairly standard multiplication factor. So from this, you can see every rand that you save at this cost of good ends, when it's multiplied 5 times, can have quite a significant impact down here. This can be the difference between you and a competitor's product on the shelf.